As President of the General Assembly, Mr. Ali Treki should open an investigation of the assassinations file, in addition to the war files. Who killed Patrice Lumumba and why? We merely want to record it in the annals of African history. We want to know how an African leader, a liberator, came to be assassinated. Who killed him? We want our sons to be able to read the history of how Patrice Lumumba, the hero of Congo's liberation struggle, was assassinated. We want to know the facts, even 50 years on. That is one file that should be reopened. And who killed Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld? Who fired on his aeroplane in 1961 and why? And then there's the assassination of United States President Kennedy in 1963. We want to know who killed him and why. There was someone called Lee Harvey Oswald, who was then killed by one Jack Ruby. But why did he kill him? Jack Ruby, an Israeli, killed Lee Harvey Oswald, who killed Kennedy. Why did this Israeli kill Kennedy's killer? Then Jack Ruby, the killer of Kennedy, die in mysterious circumstances before he could be tried. We must open the files. The whole world knows that Kennedy wanted to investigate the Israeli Dimona nuclear reactor. This involves international peace and security and weapons of mass destruction. That is why we should open this file. Then there's the assassination of Martin Luther King, the black reverend and human rights activist. His assassination was a plot, and we should know why he was killed and who killed him. And then there was Khalil Wazir, or Abu Jihad, a Palestinian, was attacked. He was living peacefully in Tunisia, a member state, and that country's sovereignty was not respected. We cannot keep silent, even though submarines and ships were detected along the coast of Tunisia where he was killed. No one was accused or tried. Abu Yad was also killed, and we should know how he was killed. He was killed in ambiguous circumstances. In Operation Spring of Youth, Kamal Nasser, a poet, Kamal Adwan and Abu Yusuf al-Najjar, 3 Palestinians, were killed in Lebanon, a country that is free, a sovereign state, member of the General Assembly. They were attacked and killed while sleeping peacefully. We should know who killed them, and he should be tried so that the crimes against humanity are not repeated. We've already talked about the size of the force used in the invasion of Grenada. 7,000 troops, 15 battleships, dozens of bombers. And President Bishop was killed even though Grenada was a member state. Those are crimes, and we cannot keep silent. Otherwise we will look like sacrificial beasts. We are not animals. Year after year we are attacked. We defend ourselves, our sons, our children, and we are not afraid. We have the right to live, and the earth is not destined for violence, but for us all. We can never live on this earth in such humiliation, so those are the wars. The last files is that of the massacres. In the Sabra and Shatila massacre, 3,000 people were killed. That area was under the protection of the occupying Israeli army and was the site of huge and calamitous massacre in which 3,000 Palestinian men, women and children were killed. How can we keep quiet? Lebanon is a sovereign state. A member of the General Assembly was occupied. Sabra and Shatila were under Israeli control, and then the massacre took place. And then there was the 2008 massacre in Gaza. There were 1,000 women and 2,200 children among the victims killed in the massacre in Gaza in 2008.
تدمير 50 مؤسسة تابعة للأمم المتحدة تبع هذه الجمعية.
60 United Nations facilities and another 30 belonging to non-governmental organizations were damaged. 50 clinics were destroyed. 40 doctors and nurses were killed while carrying out humanitarian activities. This took place in Gaza in December 2008. The perpetrators are still alive, and they should be tried by the International Criminal Court. Should we try only the underdogs, the weak and the poor of the third world countries, and not important and protected figures? Under international law, they should all face trial for the consequences of the crimes that they have committed. Otherwise, the role of the ICC would never be recognized. If the decisions of the ICC are not respected or implemented, if the General Assembly and the Security Council mean nothing, and if the International Atomic Energy Agency serves only certain countries and organizations, then what is the United Nations? It would mean that the United Nations is nothing, and this is insignificant. Where is it? There is no United Nations. Then, while piracy may be a phenomenon of the high seas, a form of terrorism, we may talk about the piracy in Somalia. Somalis are not pirates. We are the pirates. We went there and usurped their economic zones, their fishing, their wealth. Libya, India, Japan, America, any country in the world. We're all pirates. We all entered the territorial waters and economic zones of Somalia and stole. The Somalis are protecting their own fish, their sustenance. They have become pirates because they are defending their children's food. Now we seek to address that matter in the wrong way. Should we send warships to Somalia? We should send warships to the pirates who have attacked and seized the economic zones and wealth of the Somalis and the food of their children. I met the pirates, and I told them that I would negotiate an agreement between them and the international community that respects the 200-mile exclusive economic zone under the law of the sea, and that protects all marine resources belonging to the Somali people. And that stops all countries from disposing of toxic waste along the Somali coast. In return, the Somalis would no longer attack any ships. We will propose and draft such an international treaty and submit it to the General Assembly. That is the solution. The solution does not lie in sending more military ships to fight the Somalis. That is not a solution.